Hello Math 152 students. The purpose of this video is to show you some of the tools you have available to you as you get started with the course content. The first place I want to take us is the Course Content tab. There's a couple of things with your ebook that I would like to show you, and in fact there are two links to two different versions of the e-text. The first one, let's go ahead and open up. And I want to let you know that I've been having a little bit of issues with our updates here. They updated the version of our ebook. So you may see like a user agreement when you first click in. You probably will only have to do that one time. And then you should go to a page that looks like this. I'm going to adjust my window just a little bit. All right, so that looks a little bit better. What I want to show you is the navigation tabs. So if you click this menu, yours is probably a little bit more that you see in your window, but you can navigate the chapters by clicking here. What I want to point out is some linked videos that you have. So in this version of the ebook, every place you see this icon, it has a video. So sometimes there will be an introduction video for a section. Sometimes you'll have a video that's for a specific example. These are very helpful, particularly as we get into problems where we're doing computations. So what I recommend you do as you're reading through your textbook is read through it and watch the videos where you feel is appropriate. Sometimes you may read through the material and feel like you have a good grasp. Other times you may want to watch the embedded videos. A lot of times if you're struggling with a particular concept, I'll refer you to these videos to get extra practice and to watch a worked example. The other thing that's a little bit hard to navigate about this book is the page navigation. At the bottom right-hand and left-hand corners, I don't have it in my little screenshot here, but you should see page navigation to go page by page. One of the things with the updates I found is it's a little bit difficult to go to a particular page number in this viewpoint. You can search for a word or page, but then, for example, if I want to go to page 150, I have to click this. If I learn of any shortcuts or workarounds for the navigation, I'll make sure I let you guys know. But you want to make sure that you get in and kind of practice navigating. Let's go back to our Blackboard page, and I want to point out the HTML ebook. This is an option if you're having issues with navigating in this first link. The HTML ebook is set up a little bit differently, and I actually like the look of it for parts of the features. So you have to click that first link, and it takes you to a format that's very similar. But what you'll notice, or what I found, is that I don't have the links for the videos. So for example, if I click into 1.1, some of the formatting is a little bit easier to see. It's a little bit easier to navigate in some cases. What I really like about the HTML ebook is under the chapter reviews, you have a vocabulary list where if you click the page number, it takes you back to the definition that you're looking at. So again, if I go to that chapter review and then I click maybe individual, it takes me to where I need to go rather than having to navigate through the pages and look for the vocabulary terms one by one. So you may find it helpful to start by looking at the HTML ebook and then also go through the ebook with the linked videos with that first link. However, there's some other options to get the video content by looking at the multimedia library. If you click this multimedia library, it takes you to part of my math lab, and you can search by chapter, and I'm going to leave all sections and select all. What this does is gives you all the resources that you have linked through the ebook, such as videos and also PowerPoints. So what you'll see down here is the multimedia textbook links to the ebook, and then you'll see the videos. So these are the videos that are linked in the ebook that you don't see in the HTML version. So you can find a complete list here, and sometimes I'll refer you to one of these in particular. I don't necessarily recommend that you watch all of them, because what you'll see as we progress through the course is that some of the examples use technology that we're not using. For example, the graphing calculator versus StatCrunch. So you do want to be selective as we go along and make sure you're paying attention to what technology I'm recommending and focusing on those videos. Another resource that you have is the PowerPoints. I have a link for the optional PowerPoints that go along with the ebook in our Blackboard, which I'll show you in just a second. But then you also have these chapter test prep videos. At the end of every chapter, there are practice test questions, and you have a video explanation for each one. So let me show you quickly that part. If you click the chapter 1 test, here I'm just in the HTML version. These are the questions that go with those chapter test videos. So this is a good way to prepare for the My Math Lab chapter tests because you know that you can watch video solutions for each of the questions that you see here. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our Blackboard. And I mentioned those PowerPoints. I went ahead and uploaded all of the optional PowerPoints here. What this does is just gives you another way to consume the material. So again, these are the PowerPoints that go with the ebook. Sometimes I will tell you as we get further into the course that we are skipping a particular method or a particular use of technology. So sometimes I'll say, hey, ignore this content, whether you're looking at the ebook or the PowerPoints. So let's just go back to our course content tab, kind of summarize what we've been saying. As you start chapter 1 and any of the chapters, you want to think about reading through each section, paying attention to vocabulary, and then I would recommend working homework problems section by section. For example, chapter 1 has 6 sections. So I would recommend working through the chapter 1 vocabulary, then working on some homework problems before you go on to the next section. Let's go ahead and take a look at My Math Lab now so we can see how to integrate that into the course. If we click on the Assignments tab, you have a link for all My Math Lab assignments. So you can see that you have a lot of assignments preloaded, all of the homework and tests for the entire course, and the homework ones should be clickable to you. The tests are not yet clickable. You have these flags that tell you that you have to have an 80% on your chapter 1 before attempting the test. They won't open until you get that 80%. So let's click into the homework. And I'm just going to click on number 31 for right now. I want to show you some of the tools that you have available. Some of the questions in chapter 1 are more vocabulary based. I know on my screen it's cutting off just a little bit with the recorder, but you should see in the top right hand corner question help. If you click that drop down, some of your questions have a couple of links. Textbook takes you to your ebook. StatCrunch, which we haven't used yet, that's our technology that's kind of similar to Excel. There's also an Ask My Instructor button. If you click the Ask My Instructor, it sends me a copy of the question that you're looking at, and you have an opportunity to type in your particular question. If you have a homework question, this is the best way to send it to me. That way you're not having to tell me the question number and the numbers in your problem. So let's go back. And I actually want to take us to a chapter 3 homework just to show you some of the features. As we go along, there's more and more help features. And in chapter 1, not as many of them are turned on. Some of them there are, some of them there aren't. So for some of the questions, you'll see a more complete help menu, such as help me solve this and view an example. Some of your questions also have a video that links to a similar example. All of the questions have the textbook and Ask My Instructor, but again, in chapter 1 and the subsequent chapters, you'll start seeing more of the help me solve this when we have more number and solutions to work out, and you'll see more of the view an example. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this video. I want you to get in there and practice navigating your ebook, get started with your online homework, and let me know what questions you have.